financial literacy. Every guy needs. We can't broke no more. Money gotta rise up to the top floor. Invest the bread, gotta save some more. Want conk some money to me and them sore. Nah snatch no chain, nah rob nobody. Use the lessons me learn from. Mommy can't be a failure. Gotta be somebody, gotta make some money. Yeah. Common sense. You can't be a dunstug, you gotta get sense. Save every dollar, make investments. Can't surround yourself with bare silly friends. Watch Common Sense with Matthew. Facebook, Instagram, plus YouTube. Get some Lucozade and link with your crew. Money conversations is what we do. Gosh. Common sense. You can't be a dunstug, you gotta get sense. Save every dollar, make investments. Can't surround yourself with bare silly friends. Watch Common Sense with Matthew. Facebook, Instagram, plus YouTube. Get some Lucozade and link with your crew. Money conversations is what we do.
Outside with the dance dogs with Good night, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Common Sense. And tonight, as you can see, we're with an all-male panel, and we're gonna call tonight's segment Hardball Thursday, Hardball Meals, Hardball Common Sense. And tonight, we're just gonna be gaffing, as we would say, and we're coming live from Upper Level Barbershop. That's located at Forshaw and Light Street. So if you need a barber shop to, do your lineups and stuff, you can check them out. But tonight, we're not here to talk about barbering and stuff like that. We're here to talk about money and men. And we really want to have a very, very deep, open, and honest conversation about finances and how we relate to that as men. So, like the page, share, follow, send to your friends and family, and bring everybody in as we learn some common sense tonight. And I have a very diverse panel with me tonight, and we're going to get to know them a bit more now. We're going to ask each of them about their financial situation growing up, to hear about the various experiences that they had, and then we're going to get straight into the conversation. So I'm going to start off with my brother Delon Fraser. What was your financial situation like growing up?
Well, to be honest, it was very difficult at the young age trying to manage finances. You're young, and I could remember a lot of times when I used to get extra money for go to school, those money used to go right back into Pokemon cards, and then it moved from Pokemon cards into Yu-Gi-Oh! So my money used to be spent there. But then, of course, like all other things, time changes, you learn from your mistakes and these sorts of things. I still do Pokemon, by the way. I still do collect Pokemon cards, because they really sell very high on the market. But my eyes opened when I first started working, and I realized that you used to live from paycheck to paycheck because you used to start spending money on things that wasn't really important at that time. You're young, you now get the exposure to managing your finances, so you go drink here, you see something quite expensive, you say, well, good, you go buy it, without even thinking about whether or not if you're going to have the remaining money for the rest of the month. And then, like about 2 or 3 months in my job, I started feeling the blunt of it, and then I spoke with a good friend of mine, and then even to this day, I still advise people on doing the same thing. So now, like when you first started, you ensure that you have like about 2 bank accounts. You can have a secret one so that she won't know about it, but you could have about 2 accounts. And so the primary account is where your salary can be going in, and then you need to make sure that every month you're taking out a percentage of that. So for me, it was like about $10,000, because that was the money we used to be squandering all over the place. So you take like about 10,000 and put in that account. You're forgetting about that account, you aren't touching it until something really, really, really important that you need. So it was a gradual improvement for me in learning how to manage finances and so forth after hitting a really tough wall.
Excellent points. He's already answered all the questions that I had for the night already in his opening remarks. But Kayshav, growing up, what was your situation like?
Good night, guys. My name is Kayshav Tewari. Growing up, I was very comfortable. My father, he came from very humble beginnings, but he was a businessman. He started working, but then he went into business. And so growing up, I was quite comfortable, and as he progressed in business, I became more comfortable to a certain extent, to the point that I currently work. I just started working, and I don't need to touch any of the money. I just send it straight into my bank account, and I save from there. It's comfortable. I did have certain things that helped out the situation, like I was given a scholarship. So generally, yeah, comfortable.
Excellent. Travon?
Well, I came from a single parent, mother only, working for minimum wage. And we all know minimum wage back then was garbage. And I attended a senior secondary school. And as I always tell people, as a not so fortunate person going to a senior school, you just feel poor. Because everybody around you always got everything. Yeah. And it's like you struggling to make it, you just feel like you're not at the level. And I never really understood the challenges my mother went through till I started to make money. And when I started to make my own money, I realized how hard it was to manage finances. And I applaud my mother for doing that for 3 children as a single parent, putting 3 children to nursery, primary, secondary, and tertiary. That was difficult. When I started to make my own money, balancing my finance, well, when you're younger, you now start make money, you start living life. We're going every night with the out, you're danging, you're drinking, enjoying life. And as you said, you're living paycheck to paycheck. And I don't know if I saw 2020 coming, but in 2019, I hit a really low point. I had 4 bookings for one day. The same day a curl fit. All 4 canceled. I had no money. As a big man, I said, I'm gonna cry. Because I said, yo, I can't make it till next week. And I said that day, I said to myself, this can't happen to me again. And in 2020, I decided to start it, to put more money management. So I had, as you said, I had 3 bank accounts. At the time I had 1, I created 2 more bank accounts in January 2020. And what I did was 40, 40, 20. So 40% of my income went towards the business, 40% towards my saving, and 20% for me. And what from this 20% is where I would do all my danging, still would pay my bills and everything from there. And for me, if I want to go out this weekend and spend 200,000, it means that I gotta make at least $1 million this week. Forget the 20% for go out and spend. So it basically forced me to work harder to earn more so that I could balance off. Now I got 5 bank accounts, money split up all over the place, and we just live comfortable. We just live comfortable. But you need to, I believe that unless you reach to the low point, it's the only time you just open your eyes and realize that this is what you gotta do next.
Thank you if you got the Black Mohammeds here. Reon, what was your situation like growing up?
Well, most people that know me know that I grew up with my grandmother. Actually, my great-grandmother. And as long as I've known my great-grandmother, she's never been employed. So that should be an indication of where we started. You know, there's a song, never born rich, but you're not dead poor. Yeah, something like that. So, like growing up, I can't say I didn't have a comfortable life. I had an adequate life. But I like to learn from experience, whether it's primary experience or secondary experience. And I observe what was going on around me. And from there, I learned how to manage money. I remember when I got my first job, I was working for $55,000. $55,000 is a little bit money right now, you know. But when I got my first job, I was working for $55,000. I was glad. I said, hey, this is it. And then when you start working, it's like, what the hell? This one, you can't do nothing. Who you gonna do this? Bills everywhere. We spend it on. And then, you know, as you go along, you realize you gotta add value to your money. And from there on, I realized one stream of income not gonna cut it. You gotta get multiple. So I started to develop kind of a business mentality. I remember when I was in primary school, two of my friends, one named Michael and Sadie, she was in St. Margaret's Primary School, right? So there was these push points pencils. We used to sell everybody had the regular pencil, you know. Push point pencil selling at the family store. So we used to go buy push point, and everybody in class was like, wow, where I get this push point from?
So we start buy a couple packs of the push pipes. We sell it at 30%. I used to take the money and buy marbles and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But I personally definitely believe in multiple streams of incomes because, you know, easily look at the pandemic is a serious indication of what could happen. Times could change and you always gotta get a brace. You definitely always gotta get a brace.
No pun intended.
Yeah, so that's definitely my experience, and even more so when I started Panjas, like I was like, how business people just do this from like, budgeting is a very important aspect. Budgeting is very important because you see how much money you're gonna make, but you don't necessarily see how much you're going to spend. So when you start budgeting and you catering for what you're gonna spend, what you might spend, and what you might not spend, you realize how small the profit margin gets. So even in life, in everyday life, you really have to budget on what you spend. And I think what Travon said is a really good approach. I mean, Delon, he has an account for himself and girls. I was stretching so far as to have 2 accounts for myself and 1 for girls, but you know, I think definitely multiple streams of income is the way to go.
Mikhail?
Well, basically, I grew up, well...
Sorry about that, the general is here.
Yeah, well, I grew up with both parents. Very fortunate. My dad was the sole breadwinner. Still is the sole breadwinner of the family. But I can't say that I had a difficult life. I had a relatively comfortable, like I never went without food. Everything that I needed as a child growing up, I got. I didn't know how it come. I didn't know they weren't rich. Yeah. But, you know, my father has a hustler mentality. And I think from very young, looking at, there are certain things that parents don't have to tell you, but you observe as a child. Yeah. And I picked, those are one of the qualities that I picked up from my father, being a hustler. And like many would have noted, multiple streams of income is the way to go. But it was basically, you know, normal, going through school, trying to be a regular boy, but you're not a regular boy. You know, just hanging with regular boys. That's why I can relate. Yeah. Like Travon would have noted, he went to a senior secondary school. And I went to a school where regular boys is the thing. Every school had their regular boys. Yeah. So you just try to fit in. And I don't know how I did it, but I try to fit in the same way. But it's always a journey. In life, I always say this, you know, nothing lasts forever. So sometimes I remember going to graduation, my secondary school, and my father was studying, you know, and I was like, yo, I need a new pair of boots, but I didn't know how to ask for it because how I grew up is like, take this and be quiet, be contented. So that from since then to now, I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person. A lot of people might notice it, but I'm a very simple person, very, very simple.
The general is very simple. Dr. Adams.
Hey, so I'm David Adams. Thanks, Matthew, for having me. I'd say my financial journey growing up was a progressive one, in the sense that I would have seen, well, my mother was the sole breadwinner in this case, and I grew up in Narkin Street and Lodge for 17 years, and I would have witnessed how hard my parents would have worked to be where they are today. I can say today we live a very comfortable life, but before, I remember going to the shop, buying 1 sausage, buying an ounce of butter, and buying 2 eggs and them kind of thing. So I look at how much my parents would have sacrificed so much, and just like you said, looking at your parents making all these sacrifices, and looking at how they would have gotten you where you are today, like I took those, you know, valuable things, make mental notes about it, and today I could definitely say that, you know, our finances is very comfortable. So yeah, that's my journey basically.
Thank you. Before we get deep into the conversation, I just want to ask Kayshav a quick question, because your father is a very successful businessman. So what are some things from his life that you can teach us about business for those watching?
What the general over here said resonated with me. I was very fortunate. I was very blessed to have my 2 parents in my house, and they my father was just the backbone of the family. My mother was at home taking care of us, and multiple streams of income. My father's a madman when it comes to business. The things he does, you would not believe, all over the place, and not all of them are successful. Some trashy investments, not well trashy, but things that just don't turn out. But you have to push it. You have to try, do a lot of things, not all over the place. Because, okay, for example, he started in trucking, then he went into lumber because he used to pull lumber. Then he went into sand. Now he's going into producing different types of sand, and then concrete now. So he's moving in a trajectory, in a path. He's not all over the place, even though he can be. But yeah, and one thing as well is that he hasn't really taught me anything. He doesn't tell me word for word, like say, this is how you spend money. I've seen it. I'm looking at him and I feel it from him. And that's how I feel like I'm the same thing too. Multiple streams of income. I'm hustling. I'm trying to get money up. Even though, right? I was trying to get money up.
Now, for the guys that grew up in the single parent family, how deeply do you guys want to shift the narrative for your family now coming? Like, as in, you want to work hard to ensure that they never experience what you would have experienced growing up. How does that influence the decisions you make concerning your finances?
Well, although I grew up in a single parent family, my mother ensured that everything I needed, I got. Didn't always get what I want, and you never used to understand until you get, or until you reach to a certain age to understand, well, their life is not that easy. And for me, I don't have any kids as yet, but I have a niece, and she's also single parent because it's my brother's daughter. His brother and his child mother are no longer together, but I've seen my brother play the role of a father to a different level. Because the only father figure that I had growing up was my grandfather. My grandfather being the only breadwinner for 12 children. My brother works 7 days a week, about 20 hours a day, to ensure that my niece gets everything that she wants, she needs, things that she don't even know about, she's get. And for me, that has given me the push to do the same. Because she said she got two fathers. Because anything she want, Uncle Travi got it. So Uncle Travi got it. I don't have my own kids as yet, but I know from seeing what my brother did and what my mother did, it has given me a broad understanding of how I could make things better. I'm going to be 30 in another couple of days, and everybody's asked me, how come you got no children yet? And I just got one answer. I don't want a child mother, I'm looking for one. I don't want my children I don't want my children to grow up in a single parent home or knowing a father and a mother live in two separate places. My children must have the wholesome family life that I saw my mother and my grandparents produce for my mother and my uncles. I don't want that. What I had, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't ideal. But it gives me the knowledge to know that I don't want better for my kids. And as everybody said, multiple streams of income, that's it. That is it, because money can't make.
Anybody else want to touch this question quick?
I grew up in a nuclear.
No, but if I could just add to what Travon was saying, it's a good thing, the mindset that he has right now about not wanting his children to go through what he went through, because I find when we don't think like that, we find it's a cycle that happens over and over again.
Generational curse of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I think we as men need to learn to break that cycle by making the decision. So, good job, man. Like that.
All right, we want to shift the conversation now from the personal level, and we're going to touch on the favorite thing of men, or one of the favorite things of men. Women, they came out of our ribs. Right? All right, so over the past decade or so, there's been a shift in the gender equality in a sense, whereby women are now earning equal and even more than men. You check most workplaces now, they're female dominated. I could remember in 2015, there was a major rap beef between my favorite artist, Drake, and Meek Mill. And Drake sang a song called Back to Back that obliterated Meek, right? But there was a few lines in the song that really, really touched the nerve, right? He said, "Is that a world tour or a girl's tour? I know that you have to be a thug for her." This is what she meant when she said to open up more. Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. You get embodied by a singing nigga. I'm not the type of nigga that I'm type of niggas. And shout out to all my boss girls, wifey niggas. Make sure you hit them with the prenup.
Oh.
That's very cool, right? But Meek was dating Nicki back then. Nicki was making way more than he was making. He was the opening act for her tour. And Drake basically used that to sort of hit him and emasculate him in a sense. And I want to ask you guys now, how do you feel about your significant other making more money than you? Does it make you feel less of a man? Does it tug on your ego? How do you feel about that situation?
Extremely good. Extremely good, and that's the truth. It therefore means that I don't have the burden of carrying all the finances in the home. Listen, I have no qualms. I have no qualms at all if my girlfriend making more money than I am. You understand me? None whatsoever. In fact, I'll be one of the best husbands they ever have in Guyana. You understand me? You understand? Yeah, I understand. Good. So it's not a matter of how much money she's actually making, but my focus will be different. Instead of looking at how much money she's making, it's like what we can build together with the resources combined, put together. Put simply. You understand me? Don't study about how much you're making. That's good. I feel good for me wife working for more money than me, bro. Yeah. You understand? At the end of the day, we got to go in.
But I think it goes deeper than that. I mean, to analyze the statement that he made, boss, girls, wife, and niggas, it goes back to prehistoric times. Generally, the concept is that men are seen as the providers. So the stronger your will to provide as a man, generally speaking, you're more attractive to a female. And when I say stronger your will, the more money you got. Now, that's a very controversial rule. But when you look back from a man's ability to provide prehistorically by hunting, going and catch meat, farming, and then as we progress, and there was a point in time when women couldn't own property. So men had all of the financial strength. So over time, there's this gender norm that the man is the provider. So what Drake was actually trying to hit me with is, you're not the provider, your woman is. And sometimes that hurts deep. I mean, I completely agree with what Delan says. For me personally, there's no problem if I have a girl or a wife and she's making more than me. But as a man, I don't want to be there not doing anything with my life and have a woman taking care of me. I mean, realistically looking at it, there are many situations currently where women are in relationships and the man is financially dominant. And you can see in a situation where one partner is completely financially dominant, you are at the whims of that partner's personality. So for me as a man, I wouldn't like to be at the whims of a woman's personality in that regard. I would like to be doing my thing. Even if she's doing more than me, I'm doing something. So when we put two and two together, you know, hand wash, hand make, hand come clean.
Twice I've been in relationships. I'm single at the moment, just to put a plug in. But twice before I've been in relationships where my girlfriend earned more than I did. The first time I was unemployed. She was employed. Like every time we would go out, before we go out, she would put the money in my pocket so that I could pay the bill, so that, you know, it don't look bad. Yeah. And I respect though. When I got my first job back then, I used to work for $20,000 a month. I used to work for the first week of the month. I get paid the last Friday of the month. When I paid her $20,000 on Friday, I carry she out and spend 19. The other 1,000 carry me back to work next week. Yeah. For I make back the 20, because that was my way of showing how I appreciated the fact that what she did for me when I didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. Then the next relationship I went in, where she earned more than I do, I was working at GTT at the moment. And I don't know what happened, but the drop we pay, I basically used to work for $17,000 a fortnight. And that was way below minimum wage. And the girl that I was with used to earn about 90-something thousand. She didn't even know I know how much she used to get paid. And she made sure that every month I knew that she was making more than I did. And that hurt me. Then when I became self-employed and I started to make my money, I never once made her get revenge for say, yo, I said, shit, no. But then when she realized that, yo, this man clocking far more money than I do, she started to feel some type of way. Like, I didn't say anything about it. But as you were saying, I have no problem with my woman making more money than I do. But it all depends on the type of woman and the quality, her mentality. Because a lot of women gonna let you know, you ain't worth shit. I's the boss.
Don't get tied up, because a woman could make more than you, but it don't necessarily mean you're getting any of the money.
All right.
But if I could touch it too, the same question too is, I don't mind as well my girl making more money than me. I think it all comes back to like I was saying, the quality of woman, but it all comes back to her respecting me as the man.
Yeah.
And biblically, being the head of the home, understanding that, right? So the minute you disrespect me because of you making more money than me, you get a problem. So I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. Like Travon would have said, and there's something happening right now in society. A lot of young ladies are not exposed to our parents have been exposed, you gotta walk and go with your man and deal with it properly until he blossom and become this big business person or whatever, lashing part in Guyanese terms, right?
Yeah.
But when a woman, Guyanese women, but some of them, I want to say all because I know the comment section are loud. Guyanese women, there's the thing now. No girl dating no broke man, brother.
Yeah.
No girl dating
Broke man
no
gotta stay
broke man.
behind.
Yeah. And they got another song.
Broke men don't deserve no.
Yeah. Only money connection, you know what I mean? It's a very touchy tongue, and I think if it's a girlfriend scenario, it's different from it's a wife scenario.
Yeah.
Because if my wife, just like plug it in like what Travon said, I'm single. Yeah, right? That's like plug it in. Right? And if my wife earns more than me, I think she at that stage, she should be able to understand, my scenario or my situation. But that doesn't mean that as a man I be lazy. I always try to improvise and lead from the front. And I believe, I've known an individual, I work with a guy, I don't want to call the place name because you don't know, we might feel of it, but they didn't think of this. But I had a superior that his wife used to work more than him. And let me tell you, we were so good that he never explained that he had this problem, because his wife respected him. All he needed to do is just be a man, step up, give her the little, the assurance, the strength, be her guard, you know what I mean? So it all depends. But relationships from a girlfriend, boyfriend, it's kind of touchy. It's kind of touchy.
Have any of you guys ever put yourself in debt to impress a woman?
Hold on. You gotta stick a pin, right? You gotta elaborate on what you mean is debt. You mean overspend for impress a girl?
That's one aspect, but also
going broke,
basically borrowing money from somebody.
Never reached to that level. Never.
I mean,
overspend.
You get chunk change and Valentine's Day come, you just splurge and makes you feel like, you're the best thing ever, like you walk in the Mohammed's world. And you just be like, yeah, go baby, go with me. She know but you broke like dog the next day.
When I used to go to school, if anybody know me from school, Travi was a hustler.
Yeah.
Back in school, they used to call me cheap juice. I used to sell juice. And I was the man was walk out the school, like, give me 100. Give me 200, give me 50. I gotta shoot somebody, I shoot you before you shoot me. And I remember the day before school party, I had a girlfriend, like down here, girl buying gift for me. I was like, shit, me got no money for buy gift. I walk around the school and I raise $8,000. I raise 8,000. I go and I buy a gift for she. She didn't even give me no gift because I hear through the grapevine she buying a gift for me. It wasn't true. But from the 8,000 I raise, I go and I buy a necklace and earring set for 6,000 from Steve's. I'm a 2,000, grab my whole outfit for go school party next day. When I gotta get it, I gotta get it.
Yeah, you understood, you learned. You learned.
So, I'm really enjoying the conversation tonight. Just in case you're now tuning in, this is Common Sense. And with me tonight, we have a very dynamic panel of young men. And we're basically just gaffing about finances and money as it relates to men. Kayshav, you grew up in a comfortable situation. They may have never, you would have never had to impress them. They would have probably been trying to impress you. Tell us a bit about your situation.
Yeah. When I was thinking in my head, I don't really splurge on women. You see the type of women. Not to say that all women are like this, but there's a particular type of woman that's out there only looking for money, man, right? And I don't want to be attracting that type of woman, right? I want a woman who's simple, who loves me for me, who wants me for me, not for what I can give her, because I can give her and I will give her once she's that woman. And yeah, I just need to be careful. I don't want to attract those type of girls in my life.
Yeah, in this world, coming from somebody who's comfortable. Yeah, the problem can be how you gonna know.
To be honest, one of the reasons why I'm single is because women only coming for most women, let me say that, most women only coming for what after they could get. Yeah. And I be in the limelight a lot because of my job. I have to always be out there in the parties, socializing, networking. And when I out, I'm gonna always be drinking. I always got a drink in my hand. If somebody wants something for drink, you can't tell me you go out with me, you don't get something for drink. And people just believe that I just make money. I just make money because I just work very hard. But I just work too hard for spending money on people. If you come away and help me make more money, you can get me money, there's no problem. But you can't just come in and looking for sit down and take what I got. No, they can't work so. And I've run into women on countless occasions that just come in to see what they could gain. Yeah. They're not coming and help you build, they're not coming and help you achieve more. They just come in, oh, give me this, give me that, give me that. And some women got this idea that if you got a man, they gotta do your hair, they gotta do your nails, every time the makeup got, no. It's not siren. I don't know any siren thing. They're too baggy.
Yeah, but I mean, like, generally, right, in relationships, I remember this artist, Bugle, really profound artist, lyrics on point. He had a song, he has a song, Unstable. And what he was saying in the song, one of those was like, what? Mean able if you can't add nothing to the table. And there's something we as men gotta value. And I think we as men don't really focus on that. Yes, we got stuff, hard working, this guy lashing pot, and all of us trying to lash pot at the same time. But we gotta understand when we date a woman, she must bring something to the table. She mustn't keep just drawing. And there's something my father's always instilled in me. Any woman I date, you don't say you could date any woman you want, but make sure she adds value, she adds something to the table. Because like what people say, one man dirty is built that. Going back to the same point. And you want to build a life, and like my friend over here, right? He's in a comfortable position. He don't want to go back broke. We in the end though. So in order to maintain though, if you're gonna have a relationship with somebody, at least you bring something to the table so you could build from that and keep going.
Yeah, but I think as a man, we also need to recognize what is value, there are different forms of value that a woman can bring to the table, because I mean there's still women in 2022 that value the role of a caregiver. There's simply women that just want a man to financially provide for them, and then they will stay at home and be the caregiver of the family. They will do the child rearing, they will manage the household, and that is adding to the table. That is definitely adding to the table. That has a lot of value.
While you're out working, you're coming home to a clean home.
Women and finances, you can't be the most women and finances. I think how you separate the shit from the goat. That's how you separate the shit from the goat.
If you want your money done, give your wife and tell she's you own. You want your money saved, give she your money, tell she own.
I have been told never date an accountant and an auditor. Never. I mean, what is a good thing? Because the conversation was going all over. But the thing is, when you have a significant other that is an accountant, she makes sure that the money is spent where it ought to go. And the first place you realize, especially if you got kids or you're living home together, it goes to the home. Any other external spending, you got to now see how you could save from that same spending money. So those accountants out there are serious clients when they come with a calculator and the pen. And trust me, they audit you really good.
Isn't that a good thing?
Because I'm saying it is a good thing. Because somewhat I have been able to manage some of my finances because I learned it away from one of my girlfriends. So one of my girlfriends, right? That listen, you spend money. Hey, I got a lot of love. You understand me? So I have learned how to position myself and spend money wisely. Like I tell people every single time people meet me, they ask me all sorts of strange questions. I say, listen, 3 things I spend money on: traveling, school, and myself. I put it out there so you ain't gonna come with your big salary for telling me, you gotta do what I tell you gotta do because I working for money. No. I tell myself I must be able to be in a position that wherever anyone who come in my life could give me, I must be able to give myself. So it is not at that level of dependency, because we've heard the conversations going around. Most women getting high-profile jobs, they're in a position where they're making more money than you, and you don't want to have that syndrome in the home where you having to depend. So you grow that relationship with them. You learn how to spend here, spend there. Look, I don't have any kids, but I learn now how to manage my finances when it comes to my nieces and my cousins. So now you know every Christmas, nobody ain't got to tell you that, you got to, as a matter of fact, I got, probably but 6 goddaughters. You understand me? So now you got to know finance yourself. You say, okay, good. So you know, I got a budget now. When is their birthday? And even when it's Christmas, you got to give. So all of that is learning in and of itself. So it's just a matter of us adapting to learning exactly what values is necessary in respect to the relationship, but not to the extent where you lose yourself.
And Matthew, I think we as men, there needs to be a congruence between the notion that women want a money man and what women bring to the table. Because I can tell you, for me particularly, I don't see anything inherently wrong with a woman wanting a money man. Sometimes we as men, we look at what women are coming to take from us, but not what they're coming to bring. True. I, for myself, I've been blessed with women that have added to my life tremendously. Whether it's girlfriends, whether it's family, friends, whoever, I've been blessed with women who've added to my life tremendously. And I see it like this. Even music perpetuates it. Some women just want a man to provide for them. So if you want a woman that you want to provide for and you want to be that head of a family and be the financial provider, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You want a woman who is submissive. You want a woman who is a caregiver. You want a woman to manage your household. You want those things from a woman. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there are women out there who want that. And there are women who want to be independent financially and they want to be go-getters and they want to make their names in the career, in business, in whatever they want to do. And we need to recognize that there needs to be a balance between these type of women. We can't just, chide the woman that wants the money man if you want to be the money man for her. Yeah. Because as men, we know how we think. When there's an elevation in our income, we start to look for an elevation in certain physical qualities of the woman we're looking for. So you can't. No, we need to be realistic. If this is a boy, stop. We need to be realistic with ourselves.
That's what I was coming to next, because as we advance in our financial situation, particularly if you didn't have it when you were young, the type of woman that you want shift. As in, you would have dated X when you used to work for this amount. Now you're making 500,000, 600 a month. You don't want to deal with X type of girls anymore. You want to deal with Z and Y. Like, so, like the barbershop indeed. So I could understand, in a sense, I don't think anything is inherently wrong with a woman wanting a money man or a rich man. Sometimes I try to put myself in the position of a woman. What would I want from a man if I were a woman?
Exactly.
I would want a rich man.
That's not what I say though.
Right? And even when I get daughters, when you get daughters now, what type of man would you want them to date?
Yes.
You don't want them dating any guy that struggling, quote unquote, right? So I think it's a nuanced discussion that we have to give and take and understand the perspectives of women.
So in that case, what are we as men bringing to the table besides finance too? Because the same values that, like you were talking about,
Caregiving.
Caregiving, good. Some women want just love,
Security.
things.
More things. I believe everyone wants money. I don't care what the body says. Everyone wants money. My mother like money. And I see my father just. Wow. You know what I mean? So women like money, nothing wrong with it, but you just got like my friend is saying, like you just got to find the balance.
Yeah,
balance is
that's it. Balance.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I personally recognize as men. Sometimes men use their finances to lure women. If you put your money out as bait for get girls, right? What you expect? Of course. But my problem, my thing is this, Matthew. The after effect of what Reon is saying. Now that you throw your money out there as a bait, you get the woman now. You expect her thinking and so forth is going to be different other than coming after, which she can actually get from the resources, the finances. I don't think so. I do not think so. Probably one of our responsibility, if we are money men and that's what we do, I think one of our responsibility now is to change the narrative a bit. See how best now she can add to making more money. So when she starts making her money now, it's less coming out from your pocket, in a sense. So it's an exchange. So I throw it out there, but listen, we got to come to a position here where we all know that, I got the money here, but let's see how you can make some money too. Let's just add to this basket. You understand me? Let's see how we can multiply this. And just teach her. It's basically teaching her, but I would like to, I know some men might say, but that might be a caution, it might be a cautionary thing there. Because take it when you teach her now, she can now use her money now to throw out and bait in another man in the relationship. But it's a risk. But to me, I thinking it's better if you teach her how to make the money after you already gotten her, now she already know about spending certain things. And then I think it's a continuum sort of or on a line. Because how much can a woman actually spend on things? Oh, wait for it. How much can a woman actually spend having achieved or attained everything? What was everything?
A house, a car, flashy stuff coming out, everything she wants, like you said with your mom, everything she sees, she's getting. Like how much? How much?
You ever hear a woman say, I got enough clothes? Or I got enough shoes? Oh my God.
I tell you, I go back to my body scenario, right? Yes. There's my forest lady. My mother did everything. My father works so hard that he's balling in my right? So he's just nice shop. My mother has everything. I know when she body comes wrong, she comes to me and she said like, what are you buying for me? There's
nothing that I can give you.
It's not you don't want to spend, but what are you buying?
There's nothing more that I could give you.
I can't think what else this lady want, but I think it's just with women. There's never enough. And I think something that God bless them with, and we just got to accept it.
I never hear once in my life hear a woman say, I got enough clothes, I got enough shoes, and as of recent, I got enough makeup.
So okay, it's taboo. I'm okay, it's taboo.
Nah. Enough. Plus, most women now eating. Women in shame. Women eating.
Well, it now force you to become a chef.
All right, so
Plug, I could cook, but women eating.
continuing our conversation, I want to quickly touch on, we had our conversation on women. I want to touch on business and family now. We have two examples of males playing integral roles in the family and maintaining the family. What I see it nowadays a lot though is that a lot of young men, particularly who become fathers, everybody else is set and their children are neglected in terms of providing for their children. Generational wealth is a term that is very common nowadays, particularly from rap music, Jay-Z and Rick Ross and those guys. How important is attaining generational wealth to ensure that your future family lives a comfortable life and that you're not balling? I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but you can't be buying $100,000 in shots at outside and your child don't have books or a laptop to go to school. Something is inherently wrong with that. How do we manage and set our priorities to ensure that our family is well taken care of before anything else?
Our thinking has to change. Our entire focus has to change. And I believe it starts with understanding the greater responsibility, because I've heard my father, I didn't mention it earlier, but my father raised us on just $3,000. $3,000. My brother, me, and my sister sent us all to secondary school and everything on $3,000. But now it's up a bit, but still under. And you understand why he was doing these things. You see, now men are thinking, well, I didn't have a good life. Or my life wasn't where I actually wanted it to be, seeing persons in your senior school rocking all the latest and all of these things. And so for you now, your focus changes to, okay, so I need to do better for my family. I need to do better now because here, I got kids. So it's not about you anymore. And a lot of time I hear a lot of guys who got kids saying it, I can't live for myself no more. It's all about providing for my kids. So the narrative, your thinking, and everything changes from the minute you decide to settle down and start family planning. And one of the best examples, again, is one of those very accounts that we were talking about earlier. So if you know you're going to start, you know it's inevitable. Unless you're packing wind seeds or something. You know it's inevitable, you gotta get kids, right? So one of the things that you should do, and one of the things you ought to do, is provide for the future. So make sure at least, even if you don't get any kids, an account is there set aside for that particular reason. So when you build that wealth, it means that, hey, when I get my child, they mustn't, the child born with a gold spoon, so to speak. So everything is there, so they ain't gotta worry even when you go on to the grade beyond. He or she is taken care of. But you also need to be around to ensure that they understand the principles of gaining this wealth. I think I saw a quote from Jackie Chan when he said, he's not going to allow his son to inherit all of his wealth. Why? Because he worked for it. And what do you think he's going to do? He's going to squander it. You understand me? So a lifetime of wealth that you took your time to build. Your kid who's coming, or your children who's coming, who haven't understood the struggles and understand how to manage the finances, is going to come and they are going to squander it. So it's your responsibility to not only save it for them, but also teach them how to manage it and understand those principles, even at an early age, as far as I'm concerned. Because to me, when you're younger, children tend to take in things much faster. And with those brainiacs we got running around now, you wonder where to get the smartness from. So it's good now that you could open the fund, build it to an extent, where you know that they'll live a comfortable life, one better than the one that you had, as well as teaching them the principles of how to manage it.
But Matthew, like when I think generational wealth, I agree with what Dylan said, but that goes in the aspect of providing. When I think generational wealth, I'm taking money that reaches my third generation. And I personally do not feel, and this is a notion most people subscribe to, you cannot create generational wealth by being an employee. There needs to be a continuum by which this money is being generated that lasts over an extended period of time. And you cannot do that by being an employee. I saw a quote the other day, someone was saying you need to make money while you're sleeping. The continuum that is needed to create that generational wealth is enterprise, it's business. And I think that's what most people, especially, I particularly need to focus on is business. Coming from a poor background, I've recognized that the way, and they always tell you education is the key to success. No, that is a lie. Let me tell you, that is a big lie. It is not just education, it is innovation and application. Because you need to take what you learn and you need to transform it into something completely tangible and something that makes money for you, that you can compile and you can keep for your family, that keeps adding and keeps adding. And that family will get, and the next family will get, and the next family will get. And I think the problem with it is that a lot of persons, we get comfortable with our lifestyle. All right, you make a 500,000, you good, you're rich, you live in large, you get a nice car, you get a nice house. But then if you're thinking generational, you need to go further than that. Because that car is going to depreciate, the house can get old. What's going to happen next?
Yeah,
Listen, go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree with Reon. I see generational wealth as leaving a legacy behind for your third generation, other generation to come and so. And sometimes preparing or setting the grounds for generational wealth to come. It doesn't usually happen in your time or in the next generation. Sometimes it happens, it takes a very long time.
Exactly.
So the decisions you make, your priorities now, and everything will play a key role in making generational wealth happen for years and years and years.
And I mean, Kayshav can speak from a position of affluence. He was speaking about how his father's taken on multiple entrepreneurial activities and how was it your grandfather that built? Start from your father. Built. He's trying to build generational wealth, and you can't.
That's one of his main. He's always saying, referencing the big names in Guyana. They didn't come yesterday. They were here long. Yeah. They were here for a long time, and they had that orientation. I'm giving something for my grandchildren, not my children, like you said, third generation, fourth, beyond that.
And it needs to be like a family principle, because one man can't build generational wealth, you know.
Nope. Of course not.
Like when you start, somebody got to pick up and continue, and then somebody else got to pick up and continue, and that money will keep growing.
A friend of mine made a post on Facebook a while back. He's like, being the first person to start generational wealth is difficult. And that's it with me. Because my vision could be obscured. I believe, like everybody in this panel, most of the persons, about 90% of the persons that I spend that are around me, have the vision and the motivation to build not only for today, but for years to come. And I appreciate that young people, persons who haven't even reached to the 20s yet, don't see the vision. And it not only coming, most of them they even inherited it from the parents. They're just they're just getting a wider vision of life and understand life on a different level, and we're working towards it. And as you were saying, principles in generation, because we could work, we could do all the work. We could build the firm, we could build the empire. And just take one person that could tear down the empire. They just take one generation that could tear down the empire. Teaching principles and the importance of money is something that we also need to always keep at the back of your mind. There's this man that I know, is a very wealthy big man. He has 7 kids. He was wealthy before he even got his first child. And he used to give them each $500 a day. That is for passage, lunch, snack, everything. And I said, when I was there, you said, I'm like, yo, that's mean, champ. Because you got millions, and then I realized it was teaching his children the principles of money. I got money, but it's me money. You want money? Show me that you got the ability, and he would give his kids money. But for them to get the money, they gotta come with a business plan. The business plan gotta be solid, it gotta make sense. And he give them a loan. You can loan them money to start the business. If the business succeed, keep the money. If your business fail, pay me back my money. And I used to think like, yo, that's mean. But then as I get older, I understood that was teaching them principles. Now, out of 7 children, 3 of them is doctors, 3 lawyers, and the third one currently on a scholarship. Currently on your 7 scholarship to gain your masters. And everybody has their own principles. One of his daughters is a doctor in the US. She has a 10-bedroom house. Her husband, she got triplets that share a room. She has triplets that share a room. So there's a 10-bedroom house. Her triplets share one room. She and her husband in one room. And 8 free rooms in the house. And it's like, she learned it from her father, because her father teach you the principle of money. So now she's teaching it to her children that even though you're in this big house, you still gotta be humble. Learn how to appreciate the smaller things in life. And that is something that we want money, we want to live with life, but in also living with life and putting aside the bread for the children, we gotta be able to put aside the time and the ability to instill principle in them. Because money is as easy as money is to earn, it's easier to go. It's far easier to go.
I would want to add another one to that too. Discipline. Right? Discipline is one thing,
and
because
that's something we always follow.
Yeah. Discipline and sticking to it is something that we need to learn if we are to create generational wealth. That's something we gotta learn. So you gotta understand that yes, I will have to put aside and make a lot of sacrifices. You understand me? And see others enjoying it, but you just gotta be humble wherever you gotta do and stay to that plan. Be disciplined about it and stick to it.
The other night I was outside. I was outside bar, and I realized like the eldest person there was about 35. And I realized that Ghana is at a stage that we probably haven't seen in a very long time. Young people with money. The young people now, the 18, 19, 20, 25 don't got millionaires. We got millionaires that isn't even halfway in the 20s as yet. And that's something that Ghana has not seen, is because young people now are opening their eyes, because we're in the information age. We could see what's going on in the rest of the world, realize, yo, me want to be like my father. I want things, and we're working. And as I said before, my vision could be obscured because of the people that I be around. And I would always say about 90% of the people around me, the focused and the working. And I appreciate it. I just tell all my friends when they're doing good, I can message, I can call, it's like, yo, big up yourself. This is good strength. Do your thing, make your money, do your thing. Because we want to live happy. And one of my goals is that I want to retire at 35. After age 35, I don't want to have to wake up every morning and go to work. I must go to work when I want to work. My money must be able, that doesn't mean that me doing nothing, because I love photography. I love what I do. But I don't want to be at it every day, whole day. Sometimes I start working at 5 in the morning, I don't work done till 4 next morning, and I got to start back the next day. You want to do that when I start at 5? When I start at 5, I must be able to say, yo, get this done, get it done. And I must be at a stage where my business functions, the money that my business makes must making more money. Passive income. Passive income, that is the goal.
As this question is directed to Reon and Travon, I don't know if we have any other businessmen on the panel, but as two, I would say, successful businessmen, I think Panjaz is the biggest anything steel pan that we have in Guyana, and eventually it's going to be the biggest in the Caribbean. Travon is arguably Guyana's premier photographer, right? And
Give me stripes.
coming from the backgrounds that you guys would articulate it also being young black men, right? Because there's another aspect of this conversation. Because we were talking about generational wealth, and whether you want to admit it or not, that is more prevalent in the Indian community and in the black community in Guyana. For varying reasons that I don't really want to get into right now. But how important it is for you, and he would have touched it earlier, your business, being able to pass it on to your son, your daughter, whenever you get them, because in the Indian community, if you go down Regent Street, you can see Pagu and Sons, this and Sons, and then I'm not knocking Nigerians or anything, but you don't see Nigerians to a market. There's no and Sons. I don't know of any black business that has and Sons. I could be wrong, right? But how do we develop that mentality in our community to not only think of our business for us, but for our future, and also he mentioned it, we're very comfortable with earning 500,000, 600,000. I see a lot of persons, particularly in the public sector, they're in one position for 20, 30 years. And I try to understand how is it that you can be comfortable, right? How do we ensure that we don't remain comfortable and keep pushing for even more, trying to break barriers and expand our horizon?
So there's a phrase that is used. I am contented, but not satisfied. Contentment means if I make 10,000 today, it's okay. But I don't mean tomorrow I want to make 10,000. Tomorrow I got triple. It forces me to push myself to always do more. Because I've recently rebranded from keynote photography to keynote production. Because as the name keynote photography, persons would reach out to me. You do video, you do graphics. I do videography, photography, graphics, live streaming. I do anything you come to me, I would be able to do it. I would be able to find somebody to do it. And it has forced me to do more. And in doing so, I believe that any child of mine, seeing what I do, it would be very difficult for it not to resonate with them and not to do the same. Because they'll be like sick in the brain. Not to see in the information age that we live, this advanced age that we're living, it's very hard to see your parents doing this and you not want to do more. Because as we've said before, he see father do the most and he's willing to do more. And he doesn't have to. He is there. But he already got the mindset that, if me father buy 4 Lucozade, I must be able to buy 8. And that is not because he can't afford it or his father can't afford it, but it's because he knows that this is what I need to do because I want to make my father proud. And though, as he also said, his father never straight out tell you, these are the aspects you got to do to be successful. But he sat back and he watched. And I think as the generations go forward and the kids are more enlightened and more knowledgeable of what's going on, I think that is something that is going to go. And as I'm going to say again, my vision may be obscured, but generation wealth among black people is becoming a thing. I overhearing young black men talking about creating the will, but they ain't got nothing to put in the will as yet. But what are putting in the will? Sneakers, like as simple as though, because to them that's what they own. They work for it and they buy it. That's what they own, and there's the asset, and they gonna put that in the will. Because when they get a child, the child gotta get something. Because I'm not sure how people know, but in Guyana, if you don't have a will, all your assets just go all over the place. Anybody can come and say they want this and it's no.
Not necessarily.
Right, different.
I mean, because a lot of persons are not knowledgeable about the laws of what go on. So now persons are now trying to create a will and say, oh, I can left this
It's
for
not
nobody
as
look
really
for
as you
one.
just described.
But we don't know.
But to touch on the question you asked, Matthew, I personally feel that any businessman who recognizes that the main, what would you call it, the Achilles heel of sole proprietorship is continuity. So you need to pass it on to somebody. Whether you're Indian or black, you need to pass on this thing to somebody or else it's going to die with you. But on the topic of passing on your business, I think a problem with poverty is that poverty isn't just an absence of a large quantity of money and assets. Sometimes it's also manifesting a mindset. So when you're trying to build a foundation of generational wealth, you will find that you will be obscured by immediate needs. Food, clothing, transportation. These needs all outweigh a future goal of creating generational wealth for your generations to come. And you need to overcome that barrier. And sometimes the only thing you have to overcome that barrier is ambition. Your ambition must be greater than your position. It must be greater than your circumstance. And that was one of the things I had to grapple with. Because sometimes when you're doing things, when you're making investments, it's difficult. But it's not only for now, it's for a future. Sometimes you might have to forego some of those immediate needs. Sometimes you might have to forego, it might not be as drastic as clothing or food, but other simple things that you might enjoy on a regular, other things that you might see your friends enjoying, your colleagues enjoying, your classmates enjoying. You might have to forego some of them in the efforts to create something that will last you and extend from your position to your next family's position, to your next family's position. And that's what some of the great businessmen in this country have done. The initial businessman that started the generational wealth had to put in great sacrifices in order for somebody to fly a helicopter and land it in the yard.
Yep. That level of discipline is what we were talking about earlier.
And in terms of making those sacrifices as well, as we begin to wrap up the conversation, it's not easy, right? Especially as young men. And I'm shifting the conversation not necessarily from high school, but as young adults. How do you resist that temptation to be a baller and make those necessary sacrifices so that your future life is a comfortable one and you don't put yourself in a hard guava season now trying to portray this image and you make your future life uncomfortable because of poor decisions you made. Now, how do you resist that as a man?
It all comes back to discipline. You gotta be able to because we always fall off the wagon. For me, I could admit I just fall off the wagon steady. I can go out and say, yo, I going home at 9 o'clock, I go in and drink 3 Guinness. 3 Guinness is gonna turn into a bottle of 12-year-old. But I know tomorrow morning when I wake up, the 12-year-old money got make back. Because I know I made a mistake. And the only person that should suffer from that mistake is me. Which means now I gotta do everything that I had planned to do today, added to the mistakes that I made from last night. And not only discipline, but trust in the process. Trust the process that this sacrifices I make today will be beneficial for me tomorrow. Always remember though.
And the sacrifice doesn't have to be something tangible. It could be your time, it could be focusing on your studies, it could be developing a very good business plan and dedicating your time and your efforts to that model. It doesn't necessarily have to be foregoing a 12-year-old bottle today. I mean, realistically, if you go out and use a 5-year-old man, you're not go for the 12-year-old bottle. Not saying that there's any degrading of the quality, but it doesn't have to be tangible and it's incremental. The sacrifices that you have to make. You don't just make one big sacrifice today and then there's it. Generational wealth done. You're gonna make it tomorrow and the next day and the next day and you're gonna fall off 1 or 2 times.
I think generally, I think there needs to be, like we all said, balance and discipline. I work hard and sometimes you wanna splurge. You wanna feel good because I was watching I don't know, it was an ad, and it was showing a young you just running for money. When you're getting money, you're old, and there's nothing to enjoy. So having a balance is very important for me. I like nice things. I will go out and buy something, but I mean I have to do it every day.
Yeah.
I won't just throw on 3-4 Jordans, Gucci, chain down everything. But you want nice things. You want to feel comfortable. So yeah, you have to have a balance and discipline, like Travon. And I think everybody would have known to this. Discipline is a big one.
And not just balance and discipline. I think also setting personal life boundaries, and financial boundaries as well, will play an important role too. Not everything up knocky face got show. Know what to say, know what to say yes to.
Yeah.
And also investment is a big thing too that can also help as well. Know what to invest in and what not to invest in as well.
As we wrap up this conversation, another important aspect of being a man is our friends, our homies, our circle. As a man, we always rolling with the team, as you would say, right? And one thing that I've watched the celebrities do, guys like Jay-Z, Kanye West. Jay-Z said in a song, he made a lot of other persons millionaires. Ye made millions, this one made millions, he made millions. Diddy brought along his crew. Drake, everybody in OVO camp got a different business, all because of Drake. As a man, how important it is for you alone not to be successful financially, but to ensure that you motivate and inspire your circle and your crew and your friends to come along on this journey with you so that all of you can be successful. And even another Jay-Z line that I really, really like is, in one of his songs, he was saying that Diddy has to rock. He's going to be upset with himself if he buys another brand and he partner owns Ciroc. Supporting each other's businesses and not trying to throw each other under the bus and cripple each other's business. There's another important aspect of our finances. How do we bring along our team, and how do we not be envious and jealous? Because there's a big thing among friends. You see somebody might be buddy with you, but they're trying to cripple your business, or they're putting your name in certain conversations so you get a job opportunity and everything. How do you tackle things?
I think I'm touching it. I got a lot of people might know us and so forth, but I got few selected few people that I hold close to my heart, and I try to encourage them. For instance, just like you said, who has Ciroc? Somebody has Ciroc. They won't go and buy another competitor. Similarly with our friends, everybody in my group, I try to let them know that they have purpose, push them to the limits that they're not even seeing. You understand? And when they understand that, because you don't want to be, because I have a business, Kilo City, the world knows it, right? Big up Kilo City, whatever, right? and I make sure my friend come to me one day like, yo, I feel like I want to buzz this food business. I said, what? No wait, what are you doing for? Lash spot right away. And these are things that we gotta do in this service, because if everybody's doing well here and one person feel the squeeze and we don't bring that person up, that's where envy, jealousy, bad mind step in. Yeah. So you gotta make sure when you're moving, you may move faster than some, but make sure that your friends I got friends like he in her food business, I got friends that are DJs. You can't call my phone and say you're looking for somebody for play and lash up a party. You don't know why you're calling. Yeah. I don't give you that number. Keep it in.
I think though it's important though, especially in the black community, to have your circle and everybody winning. Yeah. Because what happens to when you see a bunch of black men winning or black women just winning, it inspires the rest of people coming up and the other people around you to also do well. So that's a very important thing too.
I think generally,
yeah.
There's something we got to look for.
Also, with all that said, there's a big lesson that I learned, and a guy Reon Miller taught me. We could do so much But you never see Usain Bolt when he winning 100 meters slow down for Safa Powell. A Safa Powell got pull your own strength. And if I run in and I pull him his strength and I tell you every day, oh, you could do this, you could do this, you could do that. At some point, you guys see it. If you're not seeing it for yourself, that's it. And what I do, I compartmentalize my friends. So I got friends and I dip on nonsense. When it's Friday night, I want to go outside and I can drink up and get done. I know who I call in. When I go into Marriott for a business meeting, I want a man come around me, I know who I call in. When I got business ideas, I want bounce ideas off of who I know who I call in. So as much as I got small circles, within me small circles, there are other smaller circles. And you need to understand, well, if somebody you can carry the horse to the farm, but you can't make it drink. And not forcing people to do more bite off more than they could chew has helped me mentally. Because the energy people bring to you, it could tear down your own energy. So as much as you want to see your friends winning, and you want to motivate them, and if they can't see it, I can't force them to see it. Because I got friends who got potential. I got a particular friend could be the greatest videographer this country ever see, but he ain't seen it yet. He know himself.
I want your Sean has to say, knowing that he's in the realm whereby, I don't know his circle, but...
You want to tackle that question?
Yeah, basically I think it's important that you choose the right people to be around. It's not only supporting people, but having people support you. Having people want the best for you and push you for that. Over time, I mean, I just came out of university, so I'm still fresh, but over time my friend group has gotten so smart.
Yeah.
I realized that, I don't know who said it, but as you go to different levels of success, your friend list and your circle becomes very small. I don't know who said it, but it's really, really, really true.
And there are some friends who bring you down to a certain extent, and I have one friend, I mean, I tried to bring him up and it just not working to the point that I started enabling bad activities. He was living outside of his means and calling me saying, I need this.
Yeah.
And for his sake, I had to stop it. So yeah, it's choosing the right people to be around. You're the average of the 5 people around you, something like that, right? You are the average of the 5 closest friends you have.
Yeah.
And that's something I live by. I only stay around people who can build me up, and I build them up too. I want to see them grow, they want to see me grow.
And the thing is, if, for instance, you stop enabling his bad activities, yo, I gotta get 10,000, you stop giving him money, he can feel like, oh, this man is not my friend no more. And now, he switch up on me, but no, you gotta understand, sit down in your own private mode, like, yo, why this man? And a lot of people don't have the ability. And for me, I just try, even if I kind of got people that used to be around me that I see potential in, they ain't seeing it, and I just cut them off. And then every once in a while, I can say, yo, let me go and take a drink. We sit down, and I can tell you straight up, why is it I don't enable you no more? At this point, you gotta make a decision for yourself. If you think what I do was wrong, then by all means, go away with your bad energy. But if you could sit down in your own private moment and listen, it's like, yo, this man making, and that's what people did for me. Because I didn't find focus till I was about 25. And it took me a lot. And as I mentioned before, Reon Miller did a lot for me. I met him through a mutual friend, and there's a man I could sit down and talk about anything, and he's always there to give me advice. And as I learn and as I grow, I do it for the people under me. So now like I see, I got a 20-year-old that is work with me every time. I mean, I got my own way of motivating. It's come with a lot of expletives. But the bottom line is, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying makes sense. And if you could find you focus at 20, as opposed to me, we find at 25, you got 5 years ahead of me. You could do so much more.
20 seconds, each one of you. Final words. And I want these words to be to the ghetto youths, to the dance dogs. 20 seconds of advice.
Multiple streams. That's my advice. Multiple streams. Can't go wrong right there.
Yeah, multiple streams, discipline, find a balance.
Be responsible, hold a focus, know it upon the payment.
Hold that for motivation.
Yeah, and like the other fellow said, surround yourself with people who are going to build you up, and you must know to yourself that you need to change your mindset, change your focus. If you're going after a particular goal, let me change that. If you're going after a good goal, ensure that your focus change, because I mean, they got some real done stuff out there, you know. So I'm just encouraging you to be the best you. Change your mindset, refocus, and go after it.
Invest in yourself. That's all I gotta say. Invest in yourself. Completely determined, stay at it. I don't think you can name anybody who's famous now, who's worthy of emulation, that you knew when they were 20, right? Which means they had their head down. That's what you have to do. You have to have your head down, invest in yourself, work on your network, build your education, and things will come.
Yeah.
Believe in it.
Added to what everybody say, there's not much more I could see. But what I would say is focus on yourself, do what you gotta do for you. At the end of the day, look out for number one, and number one is yourself. Always ensure that you're firm, guide your energy, focus on yourself, and do your thing. The only person holding you back is you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in to Common Sense tonight. Look forward for episode 4. We're going to be featuring women. We're going to respond to some of the comments made tonight. And then hopefully we're going to have a panel with both sides to write in. And, you know, we just want to forge these conversations, you know. So, I want to thank the panel for being here tonight. I think a lot of wisdom and gems are being shared. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Boom out! I hope the viewers don't assume that because the 4 of us didn't mention we're single, that we're not single. Because they made it obvious that they're single, so you might assume we're in a relationship. So if you're single, you should probably plug that out now.
Plug, I'm single.
I'm in Tonga.
You see, that's your problem. That is your problem.
You're making assumptions.
There's a meaning to it.
Financial literacy. Every guy needs. Caution. We can't broke no more. Money gotta rise up to the top floor. Invest the bread, gotta save some more. Want count some money to me and them sore. Nah snatch no chain, nah rob nobody. Use the lessons me learn from. Mommy can't be a failure. Gotta be somebody, gotta make some money. Yeah. Common sense. You can't be a dunce dog, you gotta get sense. Save